So I finally got around to playing Resident Evil 8, and it was a roller coaster ride from start to finish. Seeing the continuation of Ethan Winter's story through Resident Evil 7 really gave me hope and look forward to Resident Evil 8. I want to give my honest opinion about Resident Evil 8 because it was something I really enjoyed, and I want to share my thoughts and opinions on the game itself. But before I continue on my review, why don't you consider subscribing, and ringing the notification bell for more videos to come. So let's begin with talking a little bit about the story of Resident Evil 8, which I'm going to be referring to as Village from now on within the video because it sounds more better than I think that's what a lot of people actually call it more. If you played Resident Evil 7, which I do think you really should before playing Resident Evil 8 because it continues off the story a little bit of it, Ethan now has an established family now with Mia and a daughter, which is really good. You know, you like to see your man happy and everything, but all goes downhill when, you know, Chris Redfield likes to come into your house and kidnap your kid, kill your wife, and the beginning of this game starts off so crazy that you're just sitting there like, what in the world is going on? So then you ask yourself, how does Ethan even get up into the village? And basically the transport carrier that he was in kind of crashed, and you're leading your way into the village, that like the main setting of the game, which is really crazy because you're just walking through the snow and you come across a lot of the people who are just like turning into lichens now, which is close to similar to werewolves. And if you ever played, well not played, but watched on the world, they have a similar take on the werewolves and vampire type thing. You should check that game out. Not the game. Check that movie out too. It's really good. Let's get back to the point of Resident Evil 8. So Ethan, you are now trying to escape these lichens and try to find your daughter, see if Mia is still alive or what the hell is going on in the village itself. I like that the game throws you into a similar setting as Louisiana, but different, has a different vibe into it at all. You meet some of the villagers as you go, but you don't meet them for long because, you know, it's a Resident Evil game. People get killed off fairly fast, but very interesting. What really surprised me about Resident Evil Village was the fact that it has a surprisingly awesome cast of characters. They mostly were the antagonists into the game, but I really enjoyed their portrayal into the Resident Evil Village, especially the tall vampire lady. I always get her name wrong, so I'm not even gonna say it, but she was like the main thing I was really looking forward to the game. But the other three characters that were like part of the four generals that they called, or four lords of the village, was this weird, like, ogre looking type of guy that turns into like a fish when you battle him. This doll that was being controlled by someone else, and my main man himself was aware of that dude in that hat. Yeah, he was just a smooth criminal, to be honest, man. I really liked his backstory and how he was like trying to overtake Miranda, like the main villain to the game. But I don't want to go too far spoiler. I'm already spoiling too far into the story. But those are the main things you need to look out for. Basically, the four lords, being able to escape the village, seeing the connection between the past Resident Evil games and Resident Evil 7, what the hell is going on with your daughter, and why did they take her in the first place? What does it have to do with Mia? And how does Ethan fit into the mix? That is what you want to look for Resident Evil Village. The story is laid out fairly simple, and as you explore each domain of the lords, you learn a little more backstory into why or what was the purpose of them kidnapping Rose. You know, Rose is your daughter. I like that the game actually had callbacks to Resident Evil 7. And actually, Resident Evil history overall, you even see parts of the Umbrella Corporation being mixed into the game. I would recommend that this isn't a Resident Evil game if you're a first-time Resident Evil player, only because there's a lot of aspects into it, a lot of historical moments into the game where if you don't know the backstory of Resident Evil or the lore of it at all, you might be a little confused about what characters which and their motivations to doing what they do. Moving on into more of the characters I liked in the game, the Duke was really cool. He actually reminds you of basically the merchant of Resident Evil 4, and you even come to find out that they are known associates or friends of each other, which was a nice callback to. And the Duke, he gets around. He may be a little big and large for his size, but he gets around everywhere, man. He's the main merchant you attend to and talk to into the game and buy your items that you need to progress through the story. And overall, I like his design, I like his vibe, I like the character overall. I like to see more of what they do with him in the future, because if he even comes back into the future, I think maybe they'll just keep him in the village type of Resident Evil, but we'll see what they do with him. And I would say overall the story was really great from start to finish. No more spoilers from here on out. I just want to keep that like the main things you can look forward to the game. Overall, the story of the game was really good and really well rounded. I like the callbacks into Resident Evil 7 and the callbacks to Resident Evil lower, like in general. And really, if you're really into the Resident Evil, you should consider picking up Village. Let's move on to combat and gameplay. Village. You see, it's an average first-person shooter with a variety of guns, weapons, and inventory you get to carry around. They changed the inventory system a bit from Resident Evil 7, which I really liked a lot. It was more space to move around with different types of weapons and more weapons in general. It looks like it was a lot of more customization you can do with your weapons as well. You don't have to rely on those damn coins that you have to get from Resident Evil 7. You basically get your ammo from the merchant. You can craft stuff as well, but you get your ammo from the merchant, the weapon upgrades from the merchant, and your most valuable source of income from the merchant as well, which I really liked. Besides having weapons, there wasn't no, like, it's not no hand-to-hand combat type thing. Ethan does his thing, but this man be surviving a lot of stuff. You'll see further into the game how much damage this man will take from the combat. You're like, not from combat, but from cutscenes in general. And this man takes everything from getting sliced up, from getting hanged, to getting freaking just thrown everywhere across the room. It's freaking nuts. I like the fact that how fast paced it was. I was playing my first playthrough on casual, just to say, because I was wanting to get through the story for the review, and I enjoyed it. I plan to go back into normal and the harder difficulties to see the changes they made, because I want to see the difficulty spike from how you kill the Lycans and different varieties of them. There weren't, you pause right here for a second. There weren't like a lot of variety between them. I mean, you get to the machine versions of the villagers, like the Lycans itself. Lycans were basically the werewolf ones. You get like the regular zombie type villagers that were in the game too. Besides the bosses, I believe, and besides the kind of miniature bosses into the game, not too much enemy variety was put into there though. I didn't mind it too much because the setting was so small that they needed to be consistent of what enemies were going to be in type of levels. So I really like that part a lot. And playing Ethan, you just feel like a badass. Going and headshots and everything are really cool. The type of weapons you get, I'm going to something like that. You get, like, as far as I know, you get the 2 shotguns, 3 or 4 different type of pistols. I think it was 3 or 4. You get a machine gun. I didn't even unlock that thing. I never have enough money. You get a sniper rifle. You get some bombs, the landmines, and you got your usual thing like your first aid kits, the herbs, and all that. Usual Resident Evil type things that you want to see into the game. I already liked, and that's pretty much it for the combat. I enjoyed it, and the gameplay was really fast paced. If you're looking for something like that, and you want to just explore and see what the village has to offer, definitely go pick this game out. The overall vibe and aspect of Village, like the world itself, is really cool. Seeing the different type of landscapes there were between the different lords, like the castle for the vampire lady, the warehouse for basically my man. I forgot his name, to tell you the truth. I gotta look it up when I get the chance. But seeing that, and then the swamp one for the monster, like the fish monster, and that crazy nut house with the freaking doll. Those 4 differ so much, and they really reflect the lords of themselves, how they act and treat each other, and also their overall vibe until when you meet them. Now, I will say this game was really great, but it comes with some things I did not like into the game. There were a lot of backtracking, which I usually don't mind backtracking, but I kind of got lost because the game doesn't offer like wave points for you to move, like for you to know what direction you're going into. I was constantly just looking at the map trying to see which turns and everything I was doing, and there were really no indications of me going the wrong or right way, because it leaves you the freedom to explore the open world. That kind of confused me in the warehouse scene, because I was trying to make the molds from the items that you needed to craft, and it was such a pain because I forgot the way to go to the mold maker, and it was just a man. I was stuck there at least about 2 or 5 minutes just trying to figure out which way to go. Besides that, and this Ethan surviving hella shit that he shouldn't have, That's like the only thing I had bad to say about the game. Tell you the truth, not having that wave marker to see where you need to go, and the constant backtracking to get certain items. That's the only thing I'll say I didn't like about the game. I would say for my final thoughts that I had about Resident Evil Village, it was really great. From start to finish, you're basically trying to figure out what's going on within the village and the overall lore into the game. The combat's fun. I wouldn't recommend this is your first Resident Evil game though, because you definitely need the backstory of Resident Evil 7 to know what the hell is the connection and what's going on. What they do forward from this game, like without spoiling wise, what they do forward for Resident Evil, the next installment of the game, and the new character that they introduced at the end of the game, I want to see where they go with that, because they're still continuing on with the project from Resident Evil 7, which is the big thing, and I'm not sure what other aspects they can go into. It leaves a lot of open theories into the game that this is the direction they can go into, and this is the new locations they can go into. What is the overall thing that they're trying to accomplish? I don't want to tell too much about the spoiling and the ending wise. I want people to experience that for themselves. I'm sure a lot of people already seen the gameplay and ending into the game, and people already kind of explain it. I'm not going to do that. This is just my honest opinion to the game. Is it a must buy? Is it a worth buy? It's definitely a worth buy. Is it a must buy? I wouldn't say that if you haven't played at least Resident Evil 7. If you want to just rush through that, buy it. Or you can play Resident Evil Village. You can play Resident Evil Village and see it for yourself. But that's pretty much it for my review. I'm really happy I got around to actually talking about this game, because I just beat it last night, and I wanted to get my opinions out fresh and tell you guys about it. And I want to do more videos like this. You know, I always like doing a video. That's mostly my main thing I like doing on the channel right now. Besides live stream, I did live stream Biomutant, so go check that out. I plan to do another live stream of that soon, maybe today when I upload this, or whichever this video comes out. With anyways, this is Ace Sam. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for more videos, and I'll see you guys on my next video, live stream, or video in general. This is Ace Sam out.